The White House issues a renter's bill of rights. What does this mean for landlords and tenants? Welcome back to the channel. This is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. If you're new here, welcome to my world. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe, and most importantly, hit the bell for notifications because we're going live pretty much 2 to 3 times a week, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we have videos coming out every single day, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, MG the Mortgage. Oh, let's not forget the bookstore. Okay. You got the books, Jordana? Okay, great. We got the books. Go to the bookstore. Go to the bookstore. Pick up the books, mgbookstore.com. And as always, not only am I here to educate you guys with real estate, but I want to help you guys get to the closing table. If you want to work with me and my team, Tooks, we got to get a lower thirds for applywithmg.com. Go to applywithmg.com. Links will be in the description for all my resources. You can book a consultation with me and my team. You can get a second opinion. If you're currently in contract and you want to know what's going on, you want to get pre-approved, refinance, we're licensed in 21 states. Everything will be in the description of the video. All right, and also download us on audio. Wherever you listen to audio, this is actually a podcast too, if you didn't know. MG the Mortgage Guy Show. Everywhere you listen to audio, all the lives that we do will be uploaded. Starting when, Tooks? Yes, I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, this one's going to be uploaded today, right after this.
Okay, so this episode will be, yeah, I heard him, he's on record. All right, we got Jordana Hemingway in the building with us too, super producer.
Hola.
How are you, super producer?
I'm good. I'm excited to be back.
You're alive and blessed?
I'm alive and blessed, always.
Look, if you are alive and blessed, drop some gems in the comment, please. If you are alive and blessed and you thanking God for another day, drop some gems in the comment. Put the praying hands in the comment because if you're here and you're able to see me and hear my voice, you are alive and blessed. All right, let's get to today's topic. I'll be honest with you guys. I did not read this article yet.
I sent it to him. You know why I sent this to you.
Jordana sent it to me. I didn't have a chance. We've been having meetings here at Garland Media Group about various different things. And I didn't get a chance to read this article, so I'm not even going to try to play myself.
Well, just so you know, they're dubbing it the blueprint.
How dare them?
I know. That's why I sent it to you.
The blueprint?
They're dubbing it the blueprint for renters' rights.
So Biden and crew, President Biden and crew, they came out with the blueprint for renter protection, and it's the Renters' Bill of Rights. Jordan, are you going to bring this article on the screen?
Yeah, we ready to read it?
Yeah, let's read it. Right, let's bring it on the screen for you guys. Tooks is going to drop the link in the comments as well.
It's already in the comments.
The link is in the comments.
Description, sorry.
Oh, the link is in the description.
Yeah.
Well, while Jordan is reading,
okay,
you're going to read today because I don't feel like reading. I'm not in the mood. I'll be honest with y'all. I'm not in the mood.
All right,
I'm just going to be fully transparent.
Well, let's just go. Okay.
They laughing because they know it's real. I'm not in the mood. I didn't even want to go live today.
Well, we forced them because I thought I thought this was a fascinating article, and I think it's important. So basically, it's officially dubbed the Blueprint for a Renter's Bill of Rights. The plan outlines a set of principles to drive action by the federal government, state and local partners and the private sectors to strengthen tenant protections and encourage rental affordability, right? So scroll down. The initiative aims to tackle a number of issues facing renters, many of whom have been priced out of housing in markets with sky-high rental rates. Among the Biden's administration goals are to improve access to safe and affordable housing, ensure that landlords offer clear and fair leases, educate renters on their rights and ensure those rights are enforced, and give renters the freedom to organize without obstruction or harassment from their housing providers or property managers. The program has won support from tenant right advocates who spent years urging the U.S. government to take action to help curtail rising rental rates and equitable access to decent housing. So I'm going to scroll down some more. And this link is also in the bio, right, Tooks? Okay. So more than 44 million U.S. households, or about 35% of the population, live in rental housing, according to the White House. Many are struggling to pay the rent as a larger chunk of their income goes towards skyrocketing consumer prices. Nearly half of the renter households in the U.S. must direct more than 30% of their income toward rent and utilities each month, CNBC reported. The COVID-19 pandemic led to numerous new renter protections and financial aid packages, including assistance for those who fell behind on their rent, but most of those measures are no longer around. One fear is that evictions will return pre-pandemic levels, when an estimated 900,000 evictions occurred every year in the United States. I did not know that. That's wild.
Are you going to keep reading?
Well, hold on. That's good information.
That's wild.
Hold on. Before we go further.
That's wild.
There's a few things in this. 35% of the population is renting in America. I smell opportunity for me, right? Mm-hmm. I like, damn, there's no shortage of people who need apartments to live. Mm-hmm. So as a landlord, that's a good number to know because I never knew that number. And then also 900,000 evictions every single year.
That was pre-pandemic, right? Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, but when you look at 44 million people are renting and only 900,000 households, I mean, that's not a big number in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
When you really think about it. You see, that's why I hate when they do numbers like this, right? They're like, oh, 900,000 people getting evicted. Cool. We don't want 900,000 people homeless, you know? But if it's 44 million, I think it's doing pretty good. If only 900 ain't paying their bills, or they lost their job, or like whatever life happens, right?
Right.
I don't want to get too deep into that. But to me, this doesn't seem like a lot of people. If they said like 4.4 million evictions a year, that's 10% of the renters. That's kind of a scary number in my opinion. But this is less than 10%. But carry on, keep going.
Okay, so basically, let's get to the nitty gritty. I'm going to scroll down.
Yeah, what the hell is this number?
I can hit the story continues on here?
Yeah, you should be able to. I pay for the subscription now.
Oh, let's hope you did pay for this.
I paid for the what's going on here? There we go. All right, there we go.
That would be embarrassing.
Ooh, the check cleared. The wire came through. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and Consumer Financial Protection Bureau will collect information to identify practices that unfairly prevent applicants and tenants from accessing or staying in housing. The CFPB will issue guidance and coordinate enforcement efforts with the FTC to ensure accurate information in the credit reporting system and to hold background check companies accountable for having unreasonable procedures. The FHFA will launch a new public process to examine actions that can promote renter protections and put limits on egregious rent increases by landlords. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. The U.S. Department of Justice workshop will develop guidance around anti-competitive information sharing and including rental markets. So, I mean, just that alone, it just seems like they're trying to make sure that, you tell me, you're the expert, that these tenants have some more rights and that there's just more communication. Because I think a lot of these slumlords are not going to be able to, like, you know, do what they used to do or kick people out and not give them, like, for instance, if you see here, the administration will meet quarterly with tenants and tenant advocacy groups to ensure their concerns are heard, yada, yada, yada. Even this one, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development will publish a notice of proposed rulemaking to require public housing authorities and owners of project-based rental assistance properties to provide at least 30 days advance noting before terminating a lease due to non-payment of rent. What's your hot take? Because I send stuff like this to you to hear your hot take because they were using a whole bunch of letters. I'm like, these sounds like these Matt Garland letters. You know, I'm like, okay.
So, all right. So what I think is fair is that they said one of the bullet points, I think it's the third bullet point. It said the FHFA will launch a new public process to examine actions that can promote renter protections and put limits on egregious rent increases by landlords. That I can understand, right? Because if we look at the past couple years, I mean, shit, look at Miami, for instance. I know people that said their rent was $2,000, then it went up to $4,500.
That's wild.
Like, that's wild, right?
Yeah.
I'm a capitalist, but you got to have some compassion, too. Like, these people could probably barely afford your $2,000, and just because the market skyrocketed or there's no supply, I don't think that gives you the right to kind of bang people out like that, right? So as a landlord, I feel as if you should be fair with your rent increases. I think now if the market does go up and it's just up and stuck, I mean, it could go both ways. I think it should be a certain percentage. You can't probably increase more than, you know, because if you look at a $2,000 mortgage, right? I mean, rent. If you increase 20%, that's $400 extra. But if you're looking at somebody that's $5,000 a month, 20%, what's that? $1,000 extra? You know, so like depending on the amount of rent, I think it should be a cap on a percentage, personally. It's the first time I'm thinking about this.
But wouldn't some homeowners or like those investors, when they say like, hey, well, I have to raise it up because the cost of living, like cost of materials.
Yeah, of course. But that's why I'm saying, like, it's a sticky situation. Anytime you get the government involved in any of this stuff, it's sticky, right? But sometimes you need, I don't know what Tooks is doing, y'all. But anytime you get the government involved in this type of stuff, it's like, do you really want the government policing things? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's why I kind of want your hot take on it, because this is on like the official whitehouse.gov website. Like, you know, you guys will check the link out below. But I don't want to speculate, but I really like to hear your opinion. The fact that the government is getting involved, are they seeing signs of like, you know, crazy landlords, crazy evictions? Like, why now is what I'm trying to say.
Why now? Because it's up and stuck in the rent. The national average is like, for a one bedroom is like $2,000. Think about it. When you look at inflation numbers, the biggest cost is housing, whether it's mortgage or rent. Both have skyrocketed in the past 2 years. So like they said in the article, 30% of people's income is going to live, just to pay for shelter.
Which is
and
wild.
If it keeps going up, that 30 going to turn to 40.
Yeah.
You know, then you get into scary times where people are really going to decide pay rent or eat. Because remember, they're using gross numbers. That ain't the net. So 30% of your gross is probably more like 45, 50% of your net. Because Uncle Sam got to still get theirs too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you got 401ks, you're doing contributions. Like, people got kids. Child care is ridiculous. Child care is absolutely absurd. Thank God I don't have to go through none of that no more. You could be paying, no, seriously, you could be paying like $1,000 per kid to go just to like daycare when they like 3 months old.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's ridiculous. No matter where you live. So, no matter how much you make too. And if you got multiple kids, oh, good Lord, good luck. On top of your rent rising. So I can understand this from a standpoint.
Of a renter, or?
Yeah, from a renter standpoint.
What about from a landlord's perspective?
That's a good question. Does it say anything in that article about the landlords? Because like I said, I didn't read that.
It is not saying anything about the landlords. Basically, it just sounds like they tell the landlords to get down or lay down. That's what I'm gathering.
I mean, what this means for landlords is like, look, you're on the clock. You know what I'm saying?
You know.
Because I'm skimming through this article. This doesn't mean anything for landlords. Like, this is just more bureaucracy. How you say that word?
You said it right. You got it.
Yeah, it's more of that. It's more red tape. And you have to, you know, really vet the tenants that you're moving in. Like, more to follow, I guess, on this when they really put this thing out and it's really official. But just reading this article, I don't really see, giving people, like it says, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development will publish a notice of proposed rulemaking to require public housing authorities and owners of project-based rental assistant properties. Project-based, that's the key word. Like the projects. So slumlords.
Yeah.
To me, it just sounds like they're attacking big-time landlords, not like the everyday, like we're mom and pop. Our channel, I'm mom and pop. But it seems like from this, when they say project-based rental assistant properties to provide at least 30 days advance notice before terminating lease due to non-payment. And that don't apply, I don't think, too much in New York, because New York, it takes so long to evict you. Like, you have a year before 2 years before somebody's evicted.
Yeah.
I think this is going to apply to states like North Carolina, Texas, like states that are more landlord-friendly states where you can get somebody out 30 days non-payment. Yo, we're going to court, we're going to evict you, and the marshal's coming to the house 2 weeks later and throwing all your shit out.
Well, what did Henry Washington say when we had him on Rants and Gems?
No, that happened to me.
Arkansas.
When I was in college and lived in North Carolina, we got evicted, and the marshals really had no heart, and they came, and we trying to pay the people, and they wouldn't even accept our money.
Yeah,
because we was already behind, and they just wanted the apartment back.
I believe in Arkansas, like he said something crazy, like 3 days. We'll put it in the comments, but he was like, yeah, you could get somebody out within like a couple of hours. That's wild.
No, that is wild. It is wild when you really think about it. Like, somebody didn't pay you in 30 days. Like, what if it's just a bad month? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, compassionate capitalist is okay.
Yeah.
But I think this is really, what they call this, the blueprint or something?
Yeah.
The Bill of Rights, the Renters' Bill of Rights, I think is needed.
Well, I think the other thing, too, is just that in New York, you know, our city is more ruthless because I do feel like a lot of tenants definitely took advantage of COVID and not paying. You guys were popping bottles, like, you know, going Dubai. Because the landlords in New York, did you see that one lady that wrote, like, a whole big sign, Tukes, where she had, like, this tenant hasn't paid rent in 72 days or whatever?
I haven't seen it, but...
Did you see that, Matt?
No, I haven't seen that.
This lady hung out a big banner. She
was
like,
yeah,
this chick downstairs. So, like, New York tenants, New York landlords, we have it hard because it's really hard to evict somebody. So I do think some tenants do take advantage of this COVID situation, right? But then I do also think there's a lot of slumlords who are raising the rent prices. Like, people can't even afford, you know, so we have to walk a fine line. I think as a landlord, you have to respect your tenant, and as a tenant, you have to respect your landlord, you know, because everybody has to eat, you know. I look at, like, what Welby does with compassion, you know. Like, you just can't, like...
Some people deserve compassion. Let's just keep it a buck.
Right.
Some people deserve compassion. Some people don't deserve no damn compassion. I'm sorry. Some people, and especially because of COVID, when you got the government basically saying you don't have to pay, but landlords still have to pay. Like, and people are abusing the system on purpose, but landlords, we still have to pay our bills too. And when those bills increase because of inflation, we got to pay for grown adults who going to work every day. Like, now that's effed up. Like, if you still going to work and you're not paying just because you're trying to be a professional tenant and milk the system, but you're hurting a real person, that's, to me, I have no compassion for those people. Now, someone loses their job, death in their family, something like that, I believe you can be compassionate, but compassion only goes but so far, though, too, at the same time. Like, if you ain't pay your rent in 3-4 months, like, yo, I'm sorry, you got to get out of here because this is business at the end of the day, and I need this to pay for itself because I have the debt. I have the responsibilities. So I think it kind of goes both ways, and evictions, it's just like foreclosures, right? I think when you're talking evictions and foreclosures, we have to understand as people that are being impacted by this, and you can't just really be like gun-ho, like, yo, everybody got foreclosed, I want to buy a house because I want a cheap deal. No, somebody's family is really impacted by that foreclosure, and the same thing with eviction. So I think you got to have compassion, but also be realistic too. How long can someone live for free in your house?
So you actually weren't that surprised by that 900,000. You were actually really impressed with that. It's not as high.
Yeah, because when you look at the numbers said it's 45 million, I think 44 million households that rent in America. And only on average, before the pandemic, is about 900,000 evictions a year. That's a very low number. So when you really look at the entire system as a whole, those numbers reflect that something's working.
Right.
Not everybody's a slumlord. You know what I mean? It shows that people are really landlords are really doing what they can to help people who are, because I'm pretty sure there's more than 900,000 people a year that go through some sort of
thing, right?
Like issues that they can't pay or something like that. But 44 million to 900,000, I think those numbers are pretty good if you ask me. I mean, what would be the target? It would be interesting to have somebody from the White House that can really break this down, or somebody in the news ask them really the question, like, what is the number that you will be comfortable with saying of people getting evicted every year, right? Is it 500,000 a year? Like 600,000, 700,000? The White House would be good with that? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But I think if you're going to put certain protections to protect against how much you can increase on an annual basis, as long as it's realistic, right? I think it should be double whatever inflation is, like 12, 20%. I think that's fine. I think a 20% increase on anything is a lot.
Well,
and I think it's fair.
Well, right, this is America, right? So everybody says it's a capitalist society.
No, we gotta make money. Look, I'm all for the landlords.
Yeah.
Because I want my money.
Right, so to me,
I need my money.
I'm just thinking about it. If a landlord did the right thing, invested into property, got their house, who is the government to get involved and say, oh, you can't increase it this much?
Right.
Tooks, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, everybody. I mean, I'm on the landlord side. That's how I look at it. I mean, it is kind of messed up. I don't know. I just feel like people have to still invest their time and money into something, and whether it's you're a renter or a landlord, I feel like either way, like it's got to be fair. So you can't just like take advantage of the system and kind of just not pay your bills, because then somebody's responsible for that one way or another or later, like that's just how it is. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, this guy Pierce, it would be Marsha Fudge to speak on that. He is right. But I'm just thinking about it, the future. I'm wondering, like, are they seeing a lot of landlords in like 2 years starting to evict people? Are they like predicting, because you always talk about it, like the housing crisis is really real. People do not have a place to live. It's going to be a country of renters everywhere, small new towns that are literally single family houses. I just saw it on TikTok. I meant to send it to you this morning. Single family houses, and it's all owned by the same company, and they're all for rent. So, and then you mentioned foreclosures. It's very fascinating. It's when politicians start getting involved in certain markets, it makes me like, what's going on here? Because what happened to the free marketplace?
No, agreed. And that's where I get like, I don't know if we really want the government to be intervening in a free-flowing system too much, right? Mm-hmm. I do understand there are slumlords out there, unfortunately. There are people who are taking advantage of the quote-unquote market and just raising their prices to unprecedented levels. Like, people been in your house for God knows how long, and then they raise you up 50%. Like, I think that's just kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, I can understand why somebody would do that. Like, so I can understand both sides of the situation. I just think there's no right or wrong way to go about this.
Somebody asked, why don't they have a landlord fund? How that work?
A landlord fund?
I agree.
A landlord fund?
But I think I'm not saying I'm 100% on the landlord side, because there are people who do raise rent for no reason. And, I mean, I'm kind of in that situation every year now. And it's like, dude, you don't even, you know what I mean? You don't even fix shit. Like, I literally renovated a whole room, put new windows, new floor in there. And he's still complaining, saying, oh, you didn't put the siding back up on the other side. Like, if you don't get somebody to fix it, then I'm going to have to charge you for it. And it's like, bro, you're raising the rent, but you don't fix nothing. And it's been like that for years. So it's like, in my perspective, I can see why it could be messed up, and I can see why landlords could probably take advantage and kind of just feel because the market's going up, they can raise the rent. But at the same time, there are people who are probably in worse situations than me that are going through worse, So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I could understand both sides, but on both sides, people are going to take advantage regardless, I think.
Well, I think the bigger issue here is more like socioeconomics in this country as a whole, right? Like I read this crazy stat, like a married household income, like nationwide, I believe, check me on this, is about like $68,000. And I think as a New Yorker, we are very privileged to think like, oh, that's chump change, that's nothing. But like, this country's really effing poor.
What country's poor?
America. Like,
You said America's poor?
I'm what? America, I think that people in this country,
poor compared to who?
No, I don't think we're poor. I think you're using. I see where you're going,
Americans,
but I don't see where you're going.
Hold on, I'm just saying. A lot of people in these big cities think that, for instance, $100,000 is not a lot of money.
It's not.
It's not.
But
in New York,
right? But
anywhere in America, 100,000 is not a lot of money.
Let me finish. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that, like, New Yorkers, people who live in California, people who live in Florida, everybody's like, yeah, that's not a lot of money. And I think that you have to G-check your privilege, because if you live in certain states and you're only making, $35,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 a year, and you got eggs going for $7 a carton, people stealing eggs at the store. I don't know if you noticed, Matt, because you get Whole Foods and stuff, right, delivered and everything. But people are out here stealing eggs. Okay.
I think I saw that.
Yes, literally. You go home and you open your carton, the eggs is missing. No, I'm telling you. So I think that when you start seeing people can't afford food and can't afford housing, and I think as big city people, you have to realize that a lot of Americans don't make this type of money. I just want you to just check your privilege respectfully.
First of all, people been shoplifting since I've been born. This ain't nothing new, Jordana. There's always eggs missing or broken.
Nah, nobody was stealing eggs before. Nobody was stealing eggs.
No.
I didn't know.
No. This ain't nothing new. People shoplift forever. That ain't nothing new. Now, check the privilege. 100K is not a lot of money. I don't care where you live. And look, respectfully, you make what you make.
100K a year?
100K a year is not a lot of money.
I think in New York it's not. But
I think anywhere in America is not a lot of money.
So there are places you can go. Like if I don't know, man. You could live comfortably with 100K
where?
In a different state where you're not paying as much rent as New York.
Where?
I wouldn't know, but I've heard. I know people
You've
who are
heard?
paying. I've heard even upstate. My boy is paying. He came from Williamsburg, so going from there to upstate, I don't know how far he is.
Well, of course. I mean, that's a different. He went from Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yeah,
very
but
expensive.
with his income, he's saving a lot of that. That $2,000 makes a big difference.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying when you talk about numbers, 100K a year is not a lot of money.
But for what perspective? Like how
For
are you looking
any
at that?
perspective, that's the mindset, bro. 30K, 50K, 100K is not a lot of money. No matter if you're making 50K right now, you should strive to make 500K.
So what's a lot of money in your eyes?
A lot of money?
See, this is what I'm saying. For you,
What's
it's different.
What's a lot of money?
Well, for me, money is like for me, it's like, all right, if I'm making good money, I'm comfortable. I can go wherever
What's
I
good
want.
money
I can
to
go.
you?
Good money to me,
Yeah.
where I'm chilling. See,
Yeah.
this is New York based. This is like, cause
It
I know
doesn't
how-
matter. What's good money to you?
Good money to me is probably like $250,000-$300,000 a year, where I'm comfortable and I'm like, all right, cool, I could do what I
Living
gotta
in your
do.
same situation how you
No,
are
I'm
right
not
now.
living in my same situation. That's what I'm saying. So like,
Because
if
you
I
know,
had a
more
crib-
money, more problems.
Right.
You do know that, right?
right?
Big said that years ago.
I get that. I get that aspect.
Because when you get 250, 300, your whole lifestyle is going to change. You
Yeah,
do
no,
know that.
I that's what I'm saying. So all right, so let's say 350 then.
350.
350.
Jordana, what's good money to you?
I would say about $1 million.
$1 million is good money. That's a good number.
In New York.
No, in anywhere $1 million is good money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at like, we're comfortable, not like rich,
$1 million ain't rich.
$1 million is I could hit
not.
$1 million. I will hit $1 million.
You will hit $1
Mark
million.
my words.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, like, I do think, and people are agreeing with me in the comments, that, like, Americans are poor. So I think that the government is seeing something that we are not privy to. That's why they're the government. That there is, a housing, like, issue.
But what do you mean by poor, though?
People cannot afford to eat. And
Okay,
people
okay.
cannot afford to pay rent.
Okay,
No,
I got
I
you, I
agree
got
with
you.
that, right? Look, I'm not discounting the people who are making 40,000, 50,000.
Because that's a lot of Americans are making
No,
that.
I understand that.
Okay, just
We're
making sure.
talking. No, I'm not talking about people's living conditions to what they make. I'm talking about
Right.
the definition of your definition of what good money is.
Right, right.
In my opinion, 100K is not a lot of money. I didn't say it was good money. I didn't say you can't live comfortable on 100K if
Depends
you
on your
budget.
lifestyle.
Depends on your lifestyle, where you live, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just saying in general, when you think about money from a perspective, I can go spend 100K right now. If I can think of one or two things that I can go buy with 100K, to me, it's not a lot of money.
But you can go buy something for $1 million and be broke.
Agreed. So what's good money? 20 million, 30 million. I'm not saying everybody's
Yeah.
gonna make that, but when you ask me and somebody in the comments said, Matt, MG, what's your definition of good money? 20 M's is great money.
Yeah.
Now, if you're making a couple M's every single year, you can still be broke because your lifestyle, your spending, everything like that. And I think everything comes with financial discipline at the same time. But I think, like, for me to be comfortable the way I want to live, I need to be, like, I'm not even living the way I really want to live.
I mean, but you're living better than most.
Agreed.
So that's what I'm saying.
Agreed.
So,
I'm not
but
going to
even-
discount my lifestyle either.
Right.
I'm not going to dim my light.
No, of course.
Why should I? I
You
work
worked
my
hard.
ass
You work
off.
exactly.
Yeah,
You worked
like-
hard for your money. I get it.
Like,
I
no one
understand.
should be ashamed about what they're making.
I know. I'm just saying, for me to be comfortable, where it's like, I bet. But then again, like you said, if I have bigger visions or bigger plans at that time because I'm comfortable, then I'm gonna want to spend more money and make.
But look what Jordana said to me even before we came on here offline. She said, Matt, is there ever going to be a time you stop reanalyzing yourself, or you're ever going to be content and this and the third? Hell no. Didn't you just say that?
I did. But I think you're never going to necessarily be happy. We were talking.
I'm happy because I wake up every morning.
Every day,
I'm alive and blessed.
Alive and blessed. But I think that, like, we'll talk offline.
No, talk right now. Talk right now. What are you talking about? Talk your talk.
I just said previously, I said offline, like, yo, you know, what is the number? What's the, like, goal? What's enough? Somebody in the comments said, what's a good amount of money to you, right? Like, and I'm not saying that I'm comfortable. I'm not saying that I don't want more for my life, but I definitely do. But I just feel like Matt is going to be like, well, okay, today I woke up and made, like, you know, 800,000. Why was it not 807? Like, you know, like, that's the Matthew that I get offline, guys. And it's just, you know.
No, that's the competitiveness of myself, of competing. Because, look, I'm a firm believer of whatever you can think, you can achieve it, right? And
manifesting, yeah.
Manifestation.
Right.
And I'm also a firm believer, if I can make $1 million and I can make $100 million, because it's just work ethic and running multiple plays and figuring it out, right? So yeah, if I get a check for $800,000, I'm grateful. I'm happier than a pig in shit, because $800,000, especially on a lump sum, is a lot of freaking money. That's life changing. You know what I'm saying? But after I get past it's like the famous Kobe Bryant interview in a playoff game. They won the game.
Oh my God! I know.
They won the freaking game.
Okay.
And he's sitting there with the screw face on, and the reporter said, "You're up 2-0. You ain't happy about this? Job not done." And then ask him something again. Job not done. So for me, the job ain't done. And even when I hit $1 billion, job not done. Because if the job becomes done, then you become complacent and you're not going to try to grind.
Yeah, life. I feel like life is boring at that point. Like, I can't say.
What do you mean? What are you doing?
No, I'm saying, like, if you don't push yourself, or if you don't.
Oh yeah.
If you're not like, you know, like, I'm the same way. So it's like, that's the only way to grow and get better, is to kind of like always have that mindset, like you could do better every single time.
Well, there was an article, and I'll just stop going off my tangents, but there was an article, I believe, in the New Yorker or the New York Times, and it talks about, like, the upper middle class, like the people who make a lot of money, but in certain states, in certain cities, they're barely scraping by. And there's a thing about a family of 4 in New York City making like $500,000 is not a lot, right? And it talks about, like, that weird sandwich when you're upper class, but, you know, your lifestyle flex start creeping up on you. Now you got your car. Now you have your Whole Foods. And you have your, you know, they talk about that demographic also. So, I mean, a lot of people are just kind of, I just feel a little bit more turbulent times coming ahead. So it's not only lower income, it's like the high class income too. Like they're kind of like, okay, well, shit, my Peloton membership just went up.
Yeah, it's expensive, right? Everything's going up. But, you know, in the comments, what's her name? Melody Fox says, are you content or complacent? There's a difference, and I 100,000% agree with that. First of all, we need to throw some more gems in this comment. Y'all need to go ahead and like this video, because we got less than 100 likes, and it's like 300 y'all here. Y'all need to get your life together and like this video. That's number one. Number two, are you content or complacent? Now, I know this whole conversation is about renting and Bill of Rights and protections, but I think income is a very important part of the conversation of this as well. Because, look, first of all, I don't want nobody to depend on the government for any type of protection, because they can say they're going to do all these things and it never happens, right? But I do think there needs to be some sort of cap to a certain extent. You shouldn't be able to raise somebody's rent double and do things like that. And let's just see how this plays out. But back to this income conversation and money conversation, it's like, yo, I want it all. What Jay-Z say? I'd rather die enormous than dormant. That's how I'm on it. Like, that's just my mentality. It's like, yo, I want to try to get everything that I possibly can, because for years I didn't have shit. Like, I grew up not having much, not being able to do certain things. So I want to live a lifestyle like I've never lived before in my life, but also have financial discipline too at the same time, to know not to overextend myself. That comes with maturity too, and that's something I always speak about when people always say, yo, want to buy a house, and I always say, yo, your mindset, you got to be mature because you got a lot of responsibilities, and it's easy for someone. It's like a culture shock when you go from making 70, 80,000 to 200-300. Like, it's just like money growing on trees. It's very easy to spend that, especially if you don't have the financial discipline. It's very easy to say, you know what, let me go get a bigger car. Let me go get a bigger place. Next thing you know, you got all these expenses, and let's just say that money comes down, right? Now you're screwed. And this is why, for me, I'm always at the point, like you gave an example, if somebody gave you 800,000, you want 807, you goddamn right. Because I know this 800 can be gone, and then now what's next?
Here goes my Matt impression for the day. You know, Jordana, I'm like a lion. You know, if a lion doesn't wake up to hunt, it doesn't eat. And to eat, you have to hunt. It's like, okay, I get it. And I see you guys in the comments. I'm not complacent. I'm definitely competitive, you know. I like to work. I'm here.
I'm glad you used that analogy.
A lion has to hunt. And Dana, good morning. We're alive and blessed. Did you go hunting today? Yeah, Matt, I'm in fucking Brooklyn. Sorry. It's like, this is not safari. Calm down.
The world is a jungle,
The
Jordana.
world's a jungle.
We got to hunt. We're predators. What do you want to be? Prey or predator?
Every morning, this is my conversation. Yes. Okay. I got you.
Prey or predator?
What I'm saying is that I do think lifestyle creep is a part of it. I do think, you know, like, I feel like we all have to be real here. I think lifestyle creep affects everybody in this room. So now it's just like, well, crap, I have to get more money. And the original conversation I was trying to get to is the fact that, like, $100,000 is a good amount of money for people in middle America. I think as New Yorkers, I think as people on the, like, you know, water sides of the country, we just tend to forget about, like, have you guys ever driven cross country?
No, why would I?
I have. America looks.
Why would I?
I don't know, because it's like one of the best countries in the world, right? So
That mean I want to drive across it?
It's beautiful, and I think everybody should do it once if you have the time.
Send me the videos.
I will, and I'll send you the parts that look like third world countries. You ever been to New Mexico at night?
Why would I ever be in New Mexico at night?
Don't want
But that's
to.
what I was saying. That's
you
what
know,
I meant.
like New Mexico, like certain places in this country are poor. So I think when we throw these figures around, and it's just like, well, somebody mentioned a landlord fund. Yeah, landlords should be protected, but I'm just saying that, like, that money, it's people are not getting it like how.
I understand that.
That's what I was trying to get at, because y'all clapping me up in the comments.
I understand that.
I agree. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying before about, like, you may think $100,000 is not a lot of money, but it might be in a different state or whatever it is. Which we already kind of clarified that.
In the grand scheme of things, I don't care where you are or who you are. $100K ain't a lot of money. Now, would $100K change somebody's life? Yes.
We talking about a lot of money in just one time here, $100K, or salary. Like, this is what you get a year.
Either or. It's not a lot of money. $100K salary is really $65,000.
That is true.
After taxes.
After taxes. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Even if somebody gives you $100K, you still got to pay taxes on it.
That's a fact.
So again, $100K, when you think about it, can it change somebody's life who's living at the poverty line, below the poverty line, a little above the poverty line? Absolutely. I'm not saying it won't. That's not my topic of my conversation. I'm just strictly talking about numbers, dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Is $100,000 a lot of money? Nowhere in America is a lot of money. Could it create a lifestyle for you that you can live very comfortable in certain places in America? Absolutely.
Right.
In New York, probably not. Right?
Yeah, nah, definitely.
Probably not. You could, but if you, depending on your living situation, it could. It give you, if you're living at home or something like that, you got a cheap rent, whatever it is, you're making sacrifices because you got to save, because that's just what it is. You might be living in the basement. You might be renting a room. You're making certain sacrifices so you can stack up and put yourself in a better situation. I'm not trying to be having my first-class citizen, what'd you say, first-class citizen problems or some shit that you always say to me? Like, I'm not sitting here like...
First world.
No, because I don't want first world problems. Like, I don't want anybody to sit here and think like, oh, because you got it. No, I'm not saying that. Like, I was once a person who lost everything. Like, I understand what it means to be broke. I know how it feels to wake up effed up, pockets broke as hell, another rock to sell. I know how it feels, man. I've been there. Shit, some days I feel like I'm still there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my mentality that keeps me wanting more. Like, because I know how it feels to wake up fucked up. Pockets broke as hell, another rock to sell. I got kids
I don't
to
have
feed.
a rap bar to come back at you
I got all
with,
types of bars.
But there was a housewife who said, I've been broke before, I've been rich before. Being rich is more fun. That's my closest clap back. And I do understand that. I think that you always got to eat. You always have to, you know. But when I hear these housing problems, I'm just like, damn, this is really scary stuff. That's what I was trying to get at. You know, I'm going to just try to steer it back. That's why I was steer it back, because Tukes is like, look at me like, okay. But that's what I'm trying to get at. The fact that it's, you know, people are going to be suffering. I feel like once the government starts waving these like signs and these cues, I think they know, like, it's up and it's stuck, as Kiana Watson would say.
Yeah, and I think, look, I'm for the record, for the topic of this conversation, I think the government should place some sort of restrictions to protect tenants, right? Especially in states that are super landlord friendly. This is coming from a landlord. I do think it's crazy to evict somebody in 30 days. I just think that's crazy. Like, you got to give people time to, like, figure it out. Like, if I get evicted from you and because I can't pay you, what the hell makes you think I go find somewhere else to live?
But when somebody gets evicted, what are the reasons for eviction? Like, what? Like, is it just you're not paying?
Not payment.
Okay.
So you got to be, again.
But 30 days, it's like, if you think about it, if you haven't paying your bills.
Nigga, it's about to be freaking February. Think about this. So somebody didn't pay their rent, you know, this month.
That's what I'm asking. So, like, if they didn't pay their rent this month.
They could get evicted in February.
So that's basically 60 days.
Basically, but after 30 days of non-payment, in certain states, you can file as a landlord, for the eviction. And by the end of February, March, they could be out of there.
Okay.
So the landlord would typically go 2 months, maybe 3 months in those states where it's fast evictions,
right,
without non-payment. But again, I feel like depending on the person and the situation, you got to have some sort of compassion, right? You have to. But there's some people who don't deserve compassion because they're trying to milk the system and do whatever they got to do. So again, I understand both sides of the fence. I'm all for the government trying to cap increases because, again, like I said earlier, folks have been increasing rents, doubling people rent up. I think that's just ridiculous. Like, you can't expect these people to go from paying $2,000 to $5,000. Like that just don't make no damn sense. They can't afford it. Now you're putting out a family out not because of non-payment. They just can't afford your new price.
But the new price is based on what though?
Market. But just because it could be market, but again. It's my house. I can rent it for whatever I want. Yeah. When you really think about it.
But then
somebody gonna tell you what you can charge for your house.
No.
Exactly my point.
You're right. Well, I don't know if you saw, but Walmart actually just is, sources are saying that they're gonna raise the minimum wage to $14 starting in March.
As it should.
And when you think
it should be $20.
I saw 20 actually in an article like 2 days ago. It said $20. Minimum wage. I don't know if it was in New York
but see, I think that's the problem that they need to solve. Like, you may not need to cap people. You need to probably force these companies are making a lot of money. Like, look at McDonald's and all these, like, they're making a lot of money. These franchise owners are making a lot of money, right? Yeah. But the people are in their blood, sweat, and tears, sometimes risking their life because the McDonald's is in the hood. You got to worry about getting robbed, shot, you know what I mean? All types of shit, right? Fighting with the customers.
Waffle House, God.
Don't
fight at Waffle House.
I love the Waffle House.
They will come.
Hold on, first of all, I love the Waffle House.
Don't fight at Waffle House. They will clap you.
Every time I go to Waffle House is epic. It's always an epic story that comes out of the Waffle House. But look at the people who keeping these things and these businesses afloat and these businesses making us money. Why are these people barely making enough money to put gas in their car? That don't make no sense.
Let alone pay their rent. Exactly.
Shit like that. Like, how do we solve the income problem? Because if companies can make all these record profits every single year and this, that, and the third, and the higher ups are the ones who's always getting the rewards, which as a business owner, I understand that too. But you got to pay your people. Your people should be able to get paid. So I think minimum wage should be $20. I think minimum wage should be $50,000 a year.
Yeah, but what does that do for inflation for the country? Like, isn't that like you're paying what, like, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't that like affect things long term?
It's going to affect things because then prices are going to go up because it's like anything. when rates go up and like we had the cost of mortgages going up.
Yeah.
I told you, who's gonna pay for it? The consumer. The so it's a balance. How you can't solve all these problems because the way this country was built for centuries now, it's capitalist. So like, if one thing goes up, then that means I got to raise my prices to cover that one thing.
Yeah, and a lot of these businesses, if you went in and you started paying $20 for it, they're not going to go back down to pre-$20 rates.
Why
They're going to be
would
like, no, you've been paying $20. We're going to keep it up at $20.
Yeah.
Hence why I'm trying to convince my man to get me some chickens, y'all. So,
But with rent,
get my chickens, get my own eggs. Okay.
But with rent, so that will never go back down. Like where it is now, it jumped up, right? Or it didn't jump up, but it's been up, right? That will never go back down to what it was before. Like let's say 10 years from now.
I doubt it.
But that's scary because then that means if it's stuck that way, then everybody has to start working
Making more money.
Making more money.
Now, someone in the comments said the 50,000 minimum wage will cripple small businesses. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking more from the big box Fortune 500 companies who make X, Y, and Z amount of revenue, like a McDonald's corporation or something like that. And I'm just throwing numbers out there, guys. Don't take that 50,000 number seriously, because sometimes when you say things on these channels, people take it like for life and then want to debate you. But I'm not saying 50,000, but I think it should be more than $14 or $15. Like it should be a decent wage, a livable. Like what the fuck is the problem with a decent livable wage?
I think honestly, when I worked at McDonald's, that was my first job. I was getting paid $7.50, $7.25. This is back in like.
I think when I first started working in 1994, I was making $12 an hour.
12?
Yeah, I was working for Con Ed though. God bless Uncle John.
Oh, Con Ed. No, I was at McDonald's.
Uncle John was the highest ranking black man at Con Edison, so I had to plug. And he got me a summer job. This is why I know how to type so good, because I used to have to do data entry in 1994. That was my first summer job.
Damn.
I was making $12. You gotta think about this. 1994. Like, yeah, I'm old, motherfuckers.
Damn.
Yo.
Wait, you said 94? 94?
You were just born, I think.
91, I was born.
Woo.
Well, you was sucking titties, getting breast milk. Tooks was getting breast milk when I got my first summer job. Okay. Yes. $12 an hour. Shout out to Uncle John. God bless the dead. Summer job working at Con Edison doing data entry. I was fly as hell that summer too. But that's a whole different story for a whole different day. I was dripping responsibly. But why did that even come up?
Because I was saying that like the rent prices are up. Are they going to go back down? And back when I first started, like my first job, I think it was like I was making $7.50, $7.25 an hour or whatever it was. So that was basically what you started talking about with Con Ed, your first job.
Okay, so would rent continue to go up?
Right.
Probably.
But what does that do for, like, that's kind of scary if you think about it, because if the rent goes up, everybody has to work either a higher wage or for a higher wage, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, then what about people who can't afford to live in? If you can't rent, you can't own shit either.
You gotta go somewhere you can afford.
The streets?
Nah, bro, the streets is not where we want to go.
If you can't afford to pay rent, then where are you going?
I don't know. This is why people got to run plays. I don't know what to tell the people.
Well, they're already speculating that if things continue the way it is, that the income inequalities are going to be worse than it was during the French Revolution in 1774. Like, it's going to be like off with their heads. Like, you know, in that narrative, I don't know if you peep, but that narrative up online is like, okay, like eat the rich, like, you know,
yeah,
what about, so because
that spread between the haves and the have-nots has widened like tremendously since the pandemic. It's like it's more noticeable now, like who has it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree. This is why Streets is always watching. Move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, like you got to move accordingly in these streets out here right now. But ultimately, it might be like that in a couple years. It may be anarchy.
Right.
Who knows?
I mean, even this show, sometimes I was talking to a friend who's an educator, and she mentioned that, like, a lot of her kids don't even have Wi-Fi. Like, right now, everybody who's watching, they're probably on their Wi-Fi, probably on their cell phone, but, you know, there's people who don't even have access to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who,
you know,
in different countries. That's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, when we traveled to London, that was the first time I realized how spoiled Americans are.
We got it so lucky over here.
Yeah.
Like, we have it so, like, that London experience two times now, we got to go back. Soon come, UK, We coming out there, bruv. We coming. But that experience woke me up too. Like, wait a minute, we got it good over here. Like folks over there, like, it's really the have-nots over there.
Right.
Like, so look, let's put a bow on this because.
All right, yeah, I'm done. Sorry.
It's like 52 minutes into this.
Okay.
And I got to get the hell out of Dodge.
Do we want to answer some questions before the last 8 minutes?
Answer one or two.
All right. So, well, a lot of people are just talking to each other in there.
Well, first of all, what's your thoughts? Put it in the comments. What do you think? Should the government intervene and come out with this, what's they call it, the Bill of Rights for renters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or should they mind their damn business? What do you think? Put it in the comments, your opinion.
Somebody said, why are black people so against having roommates in other cultures? They live together and pool their money together.
That's a fact, too. That's a big fact. If you look at my Hispanic brothers and sisters.
Yeah. That's a fact, though. Like,
no, that's a fact.
I'm Salvadorian, so that's how it is.
I'm not. Those are my peoples. First of all,
Yeah.
Hispanic. Those are my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Right. But if you look at, they will definitely be in the same house, pool their money together, buy the house, everybody live in it, split it up. You know what I'm saying? And then the family. The next thing you know, 7, 8 years later, everybody got a crib.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's literally how it is.
This is a fact of life. They'll do all the jobs that us black people don't want to do.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
They hustle.
Yeah.
This is why their home ownership rate is higher than ours.
Yeah, you're right.
Hispanic home ownership, 51%. Black people, 42%.
You're right.
And it's been like that for decades.
You're right.
It was worse now than it is 60 years ago.
Yeah, I think black people, we just have like that pride. Like, I want my own space. I want to do my own thing.
We have a sense of entitlement.
Yeah. That's
difference.
Exactly what it is.
It's a difference.
Tooks, you can't speak because you El Salvadorian.
He's also
my
black,
dad's
too.
black. My dad's darker than probably most people you know.
What
are you talking about? Like,
I mean, I just found out.
So she's trying to get at you, son.
Word. Like, oh, you can't speak because you're not black. Yeah, I am black.
First, I thought Tooks was like Muslim. But I thought the other day I was like, wait.
You thought I was Indian?
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're
what?
not Indian?
I'm not Indian.
I was like, your real name is what?
Yeah.
So, okay, my bad. Continue.
Let me go with my entitlement, right? What I was saying. Because you said pride. No, I'm saying entitlement because, and this is just from my own experience of dealing with black people all my life.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like they should have things. It should be theirs, right? Pride is different than entitlement. And I think, me personally, I think black people sometimes have an entitlement issue.
No, that's definitely the issue.
It's definitely a fact. Like entitlement. Like you ain't nothing, no one owes you nothing. Yes, we understand slavery and reparations and we all should get that, 100%. But you know what? I'm going to create my own reparations. That's how I look at it. No one owes you nothing. No one owes you nothing. Go get it, man. It's here for you.
Well, yeah, I was in Kenya one time, and unfortunately, don't cancel me, but I did go to a slum. It's like one of the biggest slums in Kenya. And this, guy from Nairobi, he was just like, wait a minute, so you mean to tell me in the buildings, because my husband was describing like projects. He was like, yeah, in the projects, you get water to just play around with your kids. And they found that to be they were like, wait, so you mean they just giving out water just for kids to run around in? And it's like clean? And he was like kind of, yeah, because, Americans here do have it better than half the rest of the world for sure. Like you look at certain countries in Africa, it's even the, black people in the UK where we just came from, so it's just like you start having to G-check your privilege. So I wonder why we sometimes, I guess you said it, you're right. You're right. I'm not even gonna lie. You're right.
But why? So who spends the most money in America? What race?
Black people.
Black people. Yeah.
All right, so
we're the biggest consumer.
We're the biggest consumer, but we don't own the most property.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, there's an issue. There's a bigger issue there.
Oh no, there's a huge issue. Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're willing to spend money on go buy designer and all these other things, but we can't own shit.
No, bro, you're preaching to the choir right now, too.
That just clicked in my head. I'm like, okay, well, like, so.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, no one owes you shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of people definitely knock on the living with each other. So I definitely think that we should be doing that more for sure.
Living with each other?
Yeah, multi-generational living. That's what like a lot of
100%.
Asian people do that too. Like they got the grandma, they got this, they got that, they got everybody living there.
1,000%.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that too. Like, look, swallow your pride. Now that's pride,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to live with each other.
Yeah.
You don't want, like, now that's pride. Like, oh, I got to be on my own.
Right.
I got to do this on my own. It's like even with people trying to buy real estate. Like, you don't need to be 100% owner.
Right.
Partner up. You don't have to own the business 100%. Partner up or collaborate, right? But I think in our community, we don't do enough of that.
Yeah, the Chinese store on my block, they own the whole building. And everybody just works in the Chinese store. And they live upstairs. Deadass, I'm not even going to lie. Like, they all live in that old building.
Yeah.
Whatever floats their boat to make it work. Look, whatever your pathway is to build wealth, you got to do whatever it is you got to do. There's many ways to get it in America, the land of the free, right? There's many ways to get money out here. Pick your poison and go hard as hell and make it happen. Well, I think I'm done here.
Yeah, we're done. Sorry.
I got First of all, before we leave, it's like 350 of y'all on here now. First of all, shout out to all of y'all. Please go like the video. Please comment. Throw some gems in the comment. Throw your opinion in the comments. Let us know what you think. You can download this on audio as well, MG the Mortgage Guy Show. I think I'm done. Any final words?
No final words. I think some people are kind of upset, but I mean, I don't think this conversation was in the wrong direction at all. I think that it's facts. If it's a deeper conversation, then that's a different thing. But I think that's pretty clear that those are numbers, right? I mean, black people don't own majority of other races do, and we spend the most money. So where's the connection there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not really much of a wrong direction, but it is what it is. That's just those are the numbers. So you can't be mad. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are so sensitive sometimes, but it is
I
what
agree.
it is.
Look, my final words is this conversation can go in so many different ways.
It can. That's what I'm saying.
It gets so much deeper than what we just spent this last hour on when it comes to renting and renters protection and evictions and income and wages. It goes so much further than what we discussed on here. Everybody has their own opinion. I respect everybody's opinion, respect ours. But look, at the end of the day, I'm going to tell y'all one thing. Go out here and run your plays.
Facts. That's
Go out here and run your plays, because ultimately at the end of the day, shit's going to keep getting expensive.
Yeah, the world's not stopping for you.
The word don't stop for nobody. You're here today, you're going tomorrow. You got one life to live. And in the words of the great Kobe Bryant, the job ain't done, man. Mm-hmm. The job ain't done. Don't be complacent.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be complacent. Go out there and get yours. Run up the plays. And do it with integrity and character.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it.
Well said. Well said, my man.
All right.
Any parting words, Jordana?
No, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, like Matt says all the time.
Yeah.
There you have it, ladies.
These guys.
All right, go to audio, download us, MG the Mortgage Guy Show. If you want to work with me and my team, apply with MG.com. The link will be in the descriptions. MGbookstore.com. Pick up the books. You know the vibes. Best-selling books. Go get them. What else is going on? I think that's it. Oh, I'll be in Baltimore next week.
Thursday.
Next Thursday, I'll be in Baltimore. I'm going to post that on my IG. I'll put it on YouTube. I'll post it on YouTube, too.
Don't forget my sneakers. Thanks.
I forgot.
Oh, yeah, you got to send me your sizes. Yeah, so I'll be in Baltimore next week. So if you're in Baltimore, tap in with me. It's a free event. I'll put all the details. I'm going to post it on YouTube, like do a post, and I'll put the link so you can register if you're in Baltimore. If you want to come hang out with me, we're going to be talking real estate and everything like that. It's a one-day event. Not a one-day event. It's a couple-hour event. So pull up on me on there. We'll put the info in the description too, probably.
Yeah. It's not in there, but.
No, it's not there, but I got to send it to you because I just got the link and everything today in the flyer. Yeah, and that's it. All right, I got to go. It's been real. Love y'all. Be safe. This is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, but better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Peace.